Autumn is a magical time of year. The leaves turn vibrant shades of red and gold. The air gets crisp, and there's a sense of excitement as Halloween approaches. For my family, there's one tradition that we look forward to more than any other: pumpkin carving. I'm Donna, a mom of three busy kids who, every October, can't wait to dig their hands into fresh pumpkins and create spooky, funny, and sometimes downright ridiculous designs. Over the years, I've learned a lot about pumpkin carving and decorating, and I want to share that with you. Whether you're new to pumpkin carving or you've been doing it for years, I've got tips, tricks, and fun ideas to help you make the most of this festive tradition. Before we dive into the fun part, it's important to know how to get started. First things first, picking the right pumpkin is key. My daughter Emma once picked a pumpkin so big, we had to strap it into the front seat like it was a person just to get it home. That was the year I realized bigger isn't always better. For simple designs, a small to medium-sized pumpkin is perfect. If you're planning something more elaborate, go for a larger one, but make sure it's firm and has a smooth surface. You want a pumpkin with a sturdy stem and no soft spots or blemishes. Trust me, a good pumpkin makes all the difference. Once you've got your pumpkin, you'll need to set up a carving space. I usually cover our kitchen counter with newspaper or a plastic tablecloth because, let's be real, pumpkin carving is messy. We've had a few pumpkin guts on the floor incidents in the past, so a little preparation goes a long way. I keep our carving tools organized on a tray and make sure we've got plenty of towels or paper towels on hand for any spills. And speaking of tools, having the right ones is essential. There are kits available specifically for pumpkin carving, and I highly recommend them, especially if you're carving with kids. These kits come with small serrated knives that are safer than using kitchen knives, but still get the job done. Always be cautious though. Carving can be dangerous if you're not careful. I've learned to slow down, take my time, and make sure the kids are working safely alongside me. Now that we've got our pumpkin and tools ready, it's time to get to work. The first step is cutting the lid. Here's a little tip I learned after my son Jack's pumpkin lid fell inside his jack-o'-lantern one year. Cut the lid at an angle. This way, it won't slip into the pumpkin while you're carving. Once the lid is off, it's time to scoop out the insides. This is where the kids love to jump in. It's messy, but it's also a lot of fun. Use a big spoon or pumpkin scoop to clean out all the seeds and strings from inside the pumpkin. For a cleaner carve, make sure the pumpkin walls are about 1 inch thick. Next comes the design. If you're using a pattern, tape it to the side of the pumpkin and poke small holes along the outline to transfer the design. This creates a guide for you to follow as you carve. When it's time to start cutting, always begin with the smallest details first. This way, you'll have more control and are less likely to break off pieces accidentally. I remember one year when we tried carving a ghost with tiny eyes, but I started with the mouth, and by the time I got to the eyes, the whole face collapsed. It was a learning experience for sure. For beginners, I recommend sticking with simple designs at first. Triangles for the eyes, a big nose, and a wide grin are classic and always turn out great. As you gain confidence, you can move on to more complex patterns. Don't worry if you make a mistake. Pumpkin carving is as much about having fun as it is about making the perfect design. If something doesn't go as planned, you can always paint over it or turn it into a new creative detail. Once you've mastered the basics, you might want to try some advanced carving techniques. A few years ago, my daughter Lily asked if we could make a 3D pumpkin that looked like a cat. I wasn't sure how to do it at first, but after some experimenting, we managed to create a layered look by carving different depths into the pumpkin skin. Instead of cutting all the way through, we shaved off layers to create shadows and highlights. It gave the pumpkin an impressive 3D effect, and now it's one of our go-to designs. If you're feeling adventurous, intricate designs are another way to take your pumpkin carving to the next level. These require a steady hand and a lot of patience. Start with the most detailed areas, like the eyes or teeth, and work your way out. I like to use a variety of small saws and sculpting knives for the finer lines and shapes. Just take your time, and remember, it's all about enjoying the process. But carving isn't the only way to decorate a pumpkin. Some years, when time is tight or the kids want to try something different, we paint our pumpkins instead. This was a game changer for me. No carving mess, and the kids can really get creative. All you need is some acrylic paint, brushes, and a little imagination. We've done everything from polka dots to spooky characters, and it's a great way to involve younger kids who might not be ready for carving tools yet. You can even use stencils for more precise designs. Just tape the stencil onto the pumpkin, paint over it, and peel it off to reveal your masterpiece. My daughter loves using glitter stencils. It adds a fun sparkle to our porch display. Whether you're carving or painting, displaying your pumpkins is half the fun. We like to line our front porch with pumpkins of different sizes and designs, creating a colorful and festive scene. I've also learned some tricks for photographing our pumpkins. The best time to take pictures is just after sunset when there's enough light to see the details, but the glow from inside the pumpkin really stands out. Battery-operated LED lights are a safer alternative to candles, especially if you have kids running around. They also make the pumpkins last longer since there's no heat inside. And speaking of making them last longer, I've found that a light coat of petroleum jelly around the carved edges helps keep the pumpkins from drying out too quickly. There's nothing worse than spending hours on a pumpkin masterpiece only to have it shrivel up after a couple of days. Pumpkin carving has become more than just a Halloween activity for us. It's something we look forward to as a family every year. It's about getting creative, trying new things, and most importantly, making memories together. There's something magical about the way a simple pumpkin can be transformed into a work of art. Whether it's a scary face, a painted design, or a detailed 3D sculpture. But the fun doesn't have to stop at pumpkins. Over the years, we've experimented with carving other vegetables too. Squash and gourds make great alternatives, and they're perfect for creating smaller, more detailed decorations. We've even tried our hand at watermelon carving in the summertime for backyard BBQs. It's a fun way to bring a bit of Halloween creativity to other seasons and celebrations. So, as you head into pumpkin carving season, my advice is simple. Don't be afraid to get creative, embrace the mess, and most importantly, have fun with it. Whether you're carving with friends, kids, or on your own, there's no right or wrong way to create a pumpkin masterpiece. And who knows? You might just start a new tradition that brings joy to your family year after year. Happy carving!